Mitch and Pritch here on ESPN Radio 1100, 100.9 FM. Alonzo Benezra joins us here in studio. It's good to meet you today, sir. Thanks for coming in. How are you?
It's great to be here. I'm excited.
You are with the Box Fan Expo, along with the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
No, it's actually just the Box Fan Expo.
The Box Fan Expo, and you're going to be at the around and involved with the Mayweather fight coming up on September 12th?
Yeah, we have basically an expo, a big convention for boxing industry where all the fighters have their own booth, the promoters, the companies, apparel. It's a huge convention where boxing industry can come together and celebrate the sport of boxing. And there's no competition. It's all about the fans. The fans get to meet all their favorite fighters, from Roberto Duran, Sergio Martinez, Tim Bradley, Ray Mancini. The list goes on. We have, I can list you a few of the names if you want: Zab Judah, Fernando Vargas, Mia St. John, Jesse Vargas, Terry Norris, Austin Trout, Jorge Linares, Kevin Kelly. We have over 50 fighters, and there's going to be even more fighters appearing with a PBC. The Premier Boxing Champions are going to have a big booth. They're going to have all their fighters as well, male fighters there. We're going to be announcing them soon.
Okay, when, where, what time, where our listeners, how can they get involved and go down there and check it out?
It's on the Mayweather fight day, before the fight. It's on September 12th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And you can go to BoxFanExpo.com, www.BoxFanExpo.com.
Dynamite.
And you can get your tickets there and have a great, great time.
It feels to me, and I know people will say that the Mayweather-Pac-Man fight wasn't that great. I didn't mind the fight. I mean, I thought that Mayweather won it. I thought he won it rather easily, actually. But I thought it was a pretty good fight for the first 6-7 rounds. But overall, 2015, doesn't it feel to you like with the Premier Boxing, with guys like Keith Thurman being showcased on NBC and CBS getting involved, and last week ESPN having Santa Cruz and Mares, it feels like 2015 was a really solid year for boxing.
I think it's been a solid year for a few years, actually. The boxing industry is giving the fans what they want to see, regardless of if they were happy or not happy with certain fights. I love the fight with Mayweather-Pacquiao, even though it was just all the hype and everything around it. But, you know, you couldn't expect a fighter that's so defensive-minded, and he's never been the type of fighter who's going to brawl all these years to start brawling with Manny Pacquiao. You don't do that with Manny. You got to fight smart. You got to fight really intelligently. This is why a lot of fighters that were not successful, and Floyd already knew that. And the fans wanted to see blood, sweat, and tears, but it wasn't gonna happen.
Mitch and Pritch, ESPN Radio 1100, 100.9 FM. Alonzo Benezra is with us. He's with, again, the Box Fan Expo. It's going to be September 12th, 10 until 5 at the Las Vegas Convention Center. He rattled off a bunch of the names, great names that are going to be down there. I thought Santa Cruz Mares, that's exactly what, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, come on, they come out right out of the gates. Mares goes flying across the ring. Here you go. How does this haymaker taste? And it was like 12 rounds just like that.
We were there. We were covering the fight, and we were promoting the expo there as well. The fans got the money worth. I mean, you got two Mexicans. What do you want? L.A., it's a perfect venue. Premier Boxing Champions are putting good cards, very good cards, and I believe it's only going to grow. And regardless if you're Golden Boy or Top Rank or Premier Boxing, as long as we keep getting fights and it's always there, it doesn't matter who puts it on, as long as the fans, and it's always about the fans. A lot of people forget about this. The fans are the most important, and this is why we did the expo, so the fans can celebrate with their favorite fighters. It's a chance for the boxing industry to give back to their fans and celebrate what the fans are already giving them. So it's a back and forth type of thing.
And, for so long, the fans talked about we need a dominant heavyweight, because that's going to make boxing exciting again. But you can have exciting cards. You can have the fights that Mitch talked about and other people on other cards from different promoters. But the fans are still going to gravitate towards that. We don't need the heavyweight division anymore, do we?
We need a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I think it's not just one person who's going to make a difference. It's the combination of multiple fighters that are putting on great shows and great performances. And I believe that can only benefit, whether it's a heavyweight, a middleweight. I mean, Floyd is not a heavyweight, and look what he did. It's unbelievable, the marketing behind this genius, and I think he's doing a great job, because he's also showing the other fighters how to brand themselves and showcase their products and market themselves to the fans and to the public, more than just fight-to-fight basis. And a lot of these fighters that are also coming to the expo now are starting to understand this. They have their own booth. They sell their own merchandise. They meet the fans. And it's also a part of what Floyd is doing to show them the blueprint on how to do it successfully.
Mayweather is a monster favorite against Berto coming up on that weekend, September 12th. He's going to win. He's going to be 49-0. He's too good, obviously, for Berto. After that, what's going to happen with Floyd, in your opinion? Is he going to fight one more time? Will he open up the arena here in town? What do you think he does?
I think with Floyd, you never know what's going to happen. But I believe that he might have another fight in him.
Would you want Pacquiao again?
Listen, people are complaining that they were not going to watch again another Pacquiao fight. But I'll bet you anything that once the shoulder is healed and everything comes back and everybody gets excited, and they're gonna say, well, listen, the first time around it was like this. It might have been the shoulder. It might not have been. I don't know what's the truth, what's not the truth. But let's say, regardless, it doesn't matter. People are still going to tune in because they're still curious to see, will Floyd be able to do what he did again? And even if the fans are saying, no, we don't want to watch it, guess what? When it does happen, people are going to pay the money. They're going to go back. The excitement is going to come back. And you know what? Berto is still a live dog. I'm not saying he's going to win or he's going to lose. I'm just saying that in boxing, you never know. In boxing, anything can happen. Styles make fights. They keep saying this, and I never thought in my life I was going to see Roy Jones Jr., the best fighter ever I've seen, when he was a pound for pound king, and he lost against Tarver.
Tarver go down in the second round like that?
I was depressed for a month.
How difficult was it to corral all of these boxers for the same weekend? Couldn't have been easy.
It was extremely hard because the formula that we took, and I want to thank the UFC because the UFC is such a good brand and they're doing amazing with the marketing. And we wanted to emulate this, but it was a little bit different because with the boxing, all the fighters have, they're their own brand, and it's not controlled by one person. Whereas the UFC, they control everything. Dana White and the Zuffa brothers, they do a great job of having one expo. They do the same thing, the UFC Fan Expo as well. Mm-hmm. And they can control all the fighters. We can't. We have to go individually to all the fighters and explain to them, almost educate them, the difference, for the marketing aspect.
Yeah, why it makes sense. And
why it makes sense and why the fans also deserve it. And it's also the top fighters, even if they make millions of dollars, guys like Cotto, Canelo, you still have to be at the expo because guess what? It's your brand. In a few years from now, when you do have a brand and you want to keep making publicity for your brand and you want to keep rolling with it, you need to be out there all the time.
Sure.
All the time, because that's the only way to continue the success of that brand.
Yeah, and if the young boxers want to drive around in a $5 million car like Floyd, they need to kind of copy and emulate what he's done in the past.
Right.
Driving around that $5 million car. Only 2 of those in the world. It's amazing. Takes it to Fat Burger on the Strip of all places.
Well, listen, he worked really, really hard. And,
yes.
It was 24, it's been years and years in the making. It's not, it was not overnight.
No, the guy, I've always said this about Floyd. At the end of the 10th round, he's not even breathing hard. I mean, how could you do that? He's got to be one of the fittest guys or human beings ever. I mean, to go 30 minutes like that, 2 rounds are left, he's just sitting there looking, okay. He's not even breathing hard in a box. I'm like, what?
Because he wants to show the other fighters, and especially his fighters, that you need to do exactly what I'm doing, and he's trying to give the perfect example. And I think if every fighter can understand that, it's not just about the bling. The bling comes later. The hard work comes first. The rest follows. So he does all the work, and then the rest will follow. And obviously with the personality and the marketing, his aspect of what he portrays with the money and everything, it attracts a lot of the younger generation. And it's good because it also attracts a lot of younger fans to the world of boxing, not just the older fans.
Yep. Well said. Again, our guest has been Alonzo Benezra. He is with the Box Fan Expo. Again, some of the boxers that are going to be involved. You have Tim Bradley, Roberto Duran, Zab Judah, James Toney is going to be on hand, Sergio Martinez. It's a great, Fernando Vargas is going to be there.
Yes. Again, we have also the WBC, the WBA, Title Boxing, Rival, Killa, Havoc. I mean, the list goes on. We have so many different companies. Kronk. I got a great story for Kronk if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Well, I became friends with Emmanuel Stewart many years ago, and I met him in England when he was covering the fight, and we kept over the years, a relationship. And one day, we were talking about the expo, and he told me, he goes, Alonso, if you do this in Vegas, this is where it has to be taking place, because they only had at the time the Canastota, and it was it's pretty far out, and Vegas is all about glamour. And he told me, if you do this in Vegas, everybody's is going to want to come out, and it's the boxing capital. So how can you go wrong with this? And if you ever do this, you're going to do it big. And obviously, he passed away many years after. He wanted to bring me all the fighters. He told me, I'm going to get a booth. I'm going to bring you Lennox Lewis, the Vladimir Klitschko, Tommy Hearns, and we're going to do an amazing event. And years later, obviously, he passed away. And I contacted his daughter, Sylvia Stewart, and she knew about the expo and what her father a little bit mentioned to him. And she took a booth, and she was amazed last year. She sold all of her merchandise of the Kronk, and it's a beautiful story. And I wish Emmanuel was right here with
great
us.
Guy.
A very nice guy, very down to earth, and so much knowledge. It's sad to see all these great trainers like this leave, because there's not that many trainers that have that much knowledge, and guys like Eddie Futch and all these fighters like this, we need them. And it's sad, but he still leaves a big legacy behind him with all the fighters that are honoring him today.
Again, the Box Fan Expo is taking place Las Vegas Convention Center, September 12th, the day of the Mayweather-Berto fight.
Right. And Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame has a booth. That's what we gave them. Also, we wanted to support the Hall of Fame, so they have a booth at the expo. That's
from 10 until 5. You can get your tickets at BoxFanExpo.com. Alonso, great meeting you. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck with the event.
Thank you very much for having me, and we look forward for all the fans to come out, and you're going to have a good time, because we're going to have DJ, music, ring car girls, giveaways from the different booths, and it's a hell of a party. Last year we had over 3,000 fans, and this year we're expecting even more with all the fighters. And watch out, the premier boxing champions, all the fighters. It's going to be crazy.
Excellent. Sounds terrific. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.